Welcome to Matcha Morning Club, your cozy lifestyle podcast hosted by your two favorite besties, Alexa and Victoria.
Hello everyone. Today we will be sipping on a superfood matcha lattes and we are gonna discuss our summer 2025 plans and talk about seasonal living. Right, so the idea for this episode came because autumn 2024, I had this idea very original, I guess, but you know that feeling of the seasons being very fleeting. Like you think to yourself, oh, it's autumn. I would like to do this or that to celebrate the season or do something very seasonal. And then you kind of blink and life happens and it's winter. And you're like, oh, damn it, again. I didn't do it next year, I guess.
Yeah.
So I sat down in autumn and I made a list of things I want to do, movies I want to watch, foods I want to eat, or like recipes I want to try. And I kind of, whenever I sat down in front of TV, I was like, I don't know what I want to watch. I'd go to my list and I was like, this. So obviously it was like very Halloween-y and a lot of cozy, warm foods for the season. But I really enjoyed doing that. And it was really fun. So I thought, why not do an episode on that kind of system and talk about our summer plans and what we want to do more of and what we want to try and what we want to invite into our lives.
Okay, so I am familiar with the concept of seasonal living through some other like YouTube vloggers and stuff, and I've never actually done it myself. So that will be my first, what you can call maybe like a proper planned season. So I have goals for the year and just general life goals really. But I do think it would be really nice to have some goals for the season in particular, or just as you said, things you would like to do or things you would like to go cook and maybe see someone or something.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people set like big series goals at the beginning of the year, and it's great, but I try to treat my like seasonal little planning just things for fun or things I want to try, and it brings more joy and appreciation of each season, because obviously summer, we're starting off easy because I feel like summer is always quite fun. There's lots of happening. The weather is usually the best. But I think still I let certain things slip and think every year I think to myself, I'll do this. And then I never do.
Yeah. For me, it's often I want to try a recipe or I want to bake cinnamon buns. And then I think about it for genuinely 3 months and I never do it. And then the seasons change and you think to yourself, oh, well, it's spring now and cinnamon buns are more like an autumn thing maybe, or winter, like a very cozy bake. So now I'm going to put it all down on paper or Notion and actually do it.
Yeah, that's what I've done. I just Googled like a Notion template and there's tons of them out there free, and Notion is free. We're not sponsored, but we could be. No, Notion's fantastic as a tool in general. And yeah, that's what I used. And you can take your little movies and I picked like books. If you are a big reader, I think picking some books that kind of feel seasonal to you as well. Like, I don't know why, like I think like autumn, winter might be more like thrillers, mystery kind of a thing around Halloween, or maybe some sort of like darker fantasy fiction. And then summer, I'm actually seeing I want to read a bit more nonfiction, a bit more about like nutrition and about
like maybe self-development.
Self-development. I like, it's kind of like my brain's waking up with the seasons, and now I have the time to kind of take it all in and have that energy, while in the winter it's more cozy, it's more hibernation season. We're not learning anything new, we're just trying to survive. It's dark 24/7, and you know what, you can honor that. So make the most out of every season. And maybe for some people it's completely different, but I found it really fun And I think the seasonal, but also I think intentional living is
Yeah.
something I would say you have some intentions and they don't have to be deep.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just things you wanted to do. Just bring some joy into your life.
So when we talk about seasonal living, we don't talk about changing your life. And quite often it's just changing the little things, whether you're changing your recipes to something lighter. We all know that summer is a season of salads.
Absolutely.
And people always talk about it, but you have so much fresh produce. I'm obsessed with strawberries, for example. So I always try and have fresh strawberries everywhere in the house, and not literally everywhere in the house, but in my meals.
Everywhere.
Not gonna lie,
Strawberries.
you have a bowl of strawberries in every room. That would be nice, as long as I eat them. And also changing your exercise routine, because obviously during winter times it gets darker a lot sooner, so it's actually maybe sometimes unsafe going on a run after 5 p.m. It's dark, especially as a woman, for example.
Absolutely.
And then things like, again, hiking, you have more daylight to go and explore the world, and just, being able to enjoy the outside but also exercise at the same time. So that's quite a big thing. If you do have a garden, garden season is huge, and there's so much work to do in the garden. And specifically in summer, everything is growing so quickly, so it's that time of, again, planting something, harvesting something, looking after your plants. I think summer is quite a busy season in terms of seasonal living and planning, probably the busiest of them all.
Probably, I would agree, and I 100% agree with what you said. It's not necessarily to like change your life. It's more to swap things
Yeah.
into more seasonal, like you said, salad season. I was seeing these videos all over TikTok with this crispy rice
Oh,
salads, and
okay.
people make them, so you basically bake your rice with like some soy sauce or whatever
Oh,
in
wow.
your oven, and it makes this crispy rice, and you add obviously veggies and different sauces, and they look phenomenal. And obviously I saved like 12 different recipes, didn't touch them,
Yeah.
never made them. But that's what we mean, is like make space for that, plan for that, make use of the, like you said, delicious strawberries, all the fruits and veg that are going to be in season, especially if you, like us, live in a country that has seasons and is quite seasonal. Obviously people live in countries that are always warm, and
Yeah.
maybe things are
Bit
always,
different.
yeah, it's a bit different. But for us, yeah, it's just such a joy to do those things, and I just can't wait. So how would you go about planning your perfect summer?
So I'm a very much a vision board gal. I to the point that I print every single picture, I stick it on the big board, and I have it up in my office. So I make sure I see it every single day. And I think for seasons, I don't tend to change mine for seasons, but having a digital version of that is quite nice. One thing I definitely do, I change all my screensavers and all my wallpapers
Yeah,
for seasons, so that every time I pick up my phone, it gives me the mood, it gives me something. And in terms of, goal setting, I think every season has goals for me. Even quite often I keep them in my head, but it's nice to have a section in my diary, or again, a digital mood board or Pinterest boards. I am kind of like getting myself into a lot of vision board planning through Pinterest. And quite
yeah.
often I'm doing this portrait challenge where I take a portrait every single month. So for summer, it looks very different from spring. And I think for me in particular, that is a big part of summer living or seasonal living.
Yeah, absolutely. Pinterest is fantastic. And I think maybe if you're listening to us and you're like, actually, I don't really know what to do, I think having a little Pinterest browse and Pinterest board and just go with the vibe, and like a journaling prompt, maybe you could use, instead of thinking what I want to do in the summer months, I would ask yourself, how do I want to feel
Yeah.
in the summer months? Do you want to feel energized, refreshed? Do you want to feel like fun and party? And you know what I mean? And that can give you a direction of how you want to shape your summer, because how you want to feel, then you can pick activities that will support that, and you will have that magical summer of yours. I know a lot of people want to go and have fun, go to music
Yeah.
festivals. Other people maybe go more into, like you said, nature, hikes. Think about these things, do a little journaling, go on Pinterest, save all the photos that speak to you, and yeah, plan perfect summer. And then my next step would be my little Notion
Yeah.
template. But it doesn't have to be that. You can honestly, you can just do it all in your notebook if you want. And then my only tip would be, when you sit to do it, pick specific things.
Yeah.
Because
I agree with that.
so you start broad with the feeling, then you think a bit smaller about activities, and then you think small as in particular activities. And if they're time sensitive, put them in your
Yeah.
calendar.
Yeah, I think one of the things for me is that last year I said to myself, I want to have more beach time. We didn't have a great summer last year, but I think it's also partially my fault for not having that because I just said in general, beach time. And that's all I said. I did not make a list of beaches I want to go to. I did not maybe decide it in calendar. So this year, what I'm doing is I'm writing down all the beaches that I want to go to. It doesn't have to be a new thing every time. It
Yeah.
could be revisit some of our favorites. And also, I know that I want to take my dog there, my Labrador, and he enjoys water. So I know it has to be the beach that is relatively empty so he can run about and enjoy himself. Just a little bit more detail and having, say, a list of if you want to do more road trips, for example, like a day trip, you can find 5 different destinations and write them down. And you're more likely to then actually go and do that rather than saying in general, oh, I just want to go on a road trip. Okay, well, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Where's this? How long is this for? And then you will probably never end up making it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. In the same, actually, like, category kind of is, I always struggle with this, which actually this is a point to myself, a reminder to myself. There's plenty of restaurants I go past on my, like, when I go to
Yeah.
work on the bus or just randomly. And I'll save a TikTok, or like I'll make a note. It's all over the place. So what you can do is make a list of, it doesn't have to be crazy. It can be like three new restaurants, and once a month you go to a new one and you save that. And then when you meet with someone and they're, oh, should we go out for lunch or something?
Yeah.
Oh, where? And you end up having the same thing in the same restaurant. You're like, actually, why don't we try one of those places? And then you tick something off and you spend nice time with your friend or your partner or whoever, your family. So I think that's a great thing. So you just, like you say, just write it down and then maybe make plans with your,
Yeah.
like, a friend, and be like, oh, we should go to this place for a road trip on this date.
Yeah. And then
Scheduled.
it's already there. And a lot of the times it's just make it happen. Like just
Yeah.
make it happen. Don't just talk.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it doesn't, because it doesn't have to be huge. It can be a small thing. Like, for example, last week we had the most beautiful week last week. Sunny every day. It was so lovely, especially for April. Stunning. So after work on Thursday, my boyfriend and I, we went for a little picnic. And mind you, it was quite windy, so it wasn't ideal. But we have this park, like 15-minute walk from us, tops. I just go through it sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't even, like, I never actually went to the park. And as we were there on the little picnic, I was like, I actually want to do this summer. On a nice day, take my book, take my blanket. There's Tesco next door, there's Costa next door, so I can
there's
like
treats.
get my, like,
Yeah.
little iced coffee or little treats and just sit there. It's not far. I don't have to, it's not a road trip when you have to kind of
Yeah.
go for a full day. You can go for an hour. You can go for an hour and read in the sun. What's better than that? I think in general, want to be a bit more outside.
Yeah.
I'm craving fresh air.
Summertime, as well as the busiest, you have the most amount of hours you can spend outside as well. It's
Yes.
bright and light from 5 or 6 a.m. and up to, well, 10 p.m. or half 10 in Scotland in particular. So you have so much more time to do things of daylight, of the actual daylight, than you do in winter. So there's actually no excuses for making summer the busiest season out of 4 of them. And it's also perfect for, again, events, gatherings. There's so much more going on in summer. Well,
Yes.
particularly in Scotland. Maybe there are countries where there's stuff always going on, no matter the
Yeah.
season. But speaking from experience, living in Scotland is definitely the busiest season.
I think summer as well is a fantastic season to be social
Yeah.
because like it all goes together. The days are long, there's time there. So I think maybe if you didn't see your friends much in winter, this is the perfect opportunity to schedule a nice going out, like even like you said, like even going for a picnic. We can all go for a picnic or a little activity outside or plan a walk. Whatever it is, you can do it with your friends. If you're listening when this episode is coming out, which is end of May, this is a perfect time. Text your group chat and be like, let's schedule a date before people probably will know, for example, their summer holidays dates. So it's going to be easier to get a date together and actually stick it in your calendar and be like, on this day, we're doing board game session in the local park and a little picnic. Great. Or we're doing that road trip or whatever activity you wanted
Yeah.
to do.
Planning in advance also as an adult has saved me so much time and hassle and stress. Is if I can make a plan 2 months in advance, I'm easy. And literally, then I know that my calendar is filling up with lots of nice things. With a group of girls that we are all content creators, we literally plan about 2 months in advance. We're like, we're going to do this brunch, we're going to do it here and there. And then obviously we all check in just before, which I think, first of all, helps for people with busy schedules, helps to general people who have, who have a family, who have a partner, who have other responsibilities. And we are not all social in the same way either. So some of us can go out and do things 5 times a week, and some others would maybe prefer
Yeah.
just do it once a week. I think that's also quite important.
Yeah, absolutely agree. It's always so nice when you look at your calendar and there's actually nice things to look forward to. And I think it's worth stressing because I feel for a lot of people, what they look forward the most in the summer is the summer holidays, as in going abroad or going for a week away, which absolutely understandable and it's absolutely lovely. But it's not the only thing that you can do. For example, this year I don't have any holiday. Well, that's a lie. I'm going to Poland, but I am from Poland, so it doesn't really feel like a summer holiday abroad, if you know what I mean. But I have so many other little things planned.
Yeah.
Like even if it's like a one day thing or a brunch thing, that I am so super excited for my summer. Even though like I'm not going to Spain, I'm not going to Italy, I'm not going anywhere like that, like typical summer destination. But there's so many little things in my calendar that I look forward to and people I look forward to seeing that it's just great, and it doesn't have to be huge and it doesn't have to be super expensive either to like bring out the joy and enjoy the season more.
I think just on what you mentioned, well, the two of us are going to see Beyonce this summer in London.
Yes.
And I already know, regardless of how summer goes, that will be one of the major highlights.
Absolutely. I
And
mean, it's Beyonce.
yeah, and it's the first week of summer as well. So what a way to start a
Start with a
summer.
bang.
I have quite a few concerts or like things like outside planned, festivals or stuff like, I think food markets are quite nice as well.
Yes, absolutely.
So things like, whether there's a flower festival, there's things like that. It doesn't have to be wild music festival. I love food markets. Specifically, we have one in Edinburgh called the Neighbourhood Market, where they run summer sessions.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot
I
about
really
that.
look
I
forward to
cannot
that.
wait.
I think it starts usually at the end of May or something, or maybe even sooner. And then they go all the way through September. And it's just a place for people to gather. They have some sessions with some local artists. There's so much food, events. It's just like one of those quintessential summer places where people gather in Edinburgh.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a nice thing that happens, and there's live music and you can just go for a drink or you can go for some food and just spend time with people, and I think that's great. And because the weather is nicer, I'm sure there's like lots of things planned. So maybe while you're preparing your little list, Google it, see what's going to be happening in your
Yeah,
area,
good try.
see what's going to be, and not only in your city, because sometimes, so for example, on my list, there is a place called Dalkeith Country Park
Oh yeah,
that I have never been to.
we have to go. There's actually some things that I didn't know were even there. That I only found out. For reference, I live about 10 minutes away from that place. And I've
Yeah.
only ever taken my dogs out for a walk, but they have shops. They have like a little cafe and the restaurant. Had no idea. So if you, again, don't want to spend lots of money and lots of time, you can check out places that are in your area. Maybe there's something new. We have a place next to us, which is essentially a beer brewery. It's quite literally a 10-minute walk away. We've never been there before, but what they do is wood fried pizza and some beers and ciders. And it's such, again, like a cool summer activity to do. So it's just the little things,
Yeah,
really.
absolutely. It is the little things. And I would also encourage everyone after you make your list, and once you get to do those things, to actually either take photos or like film the videos. And I don't mean like if you don't post on social media, that is fine. You don't have to post it anywhere. But just for yourself to look back on your summer and have those memories kind of in some sort of physical format. I
Yeah.
actually love to like print out photos and put them in an album and just look back at all the fun things. But yeah, just obviously I'm not saying be on your phone all the time, but just make
No.
sure to capture the moments so you can look back on them, especially when it's winter and it's a bit cold and you're like, oh,
I want some pick me up. One of my friends, I don't think she does it anymore, but she used to do this kind of trend, I guess. She would film a second every day.
oh yeah.
And then at the end of the month, she would post a highlight reel. This is my month in like a second a day. And it's actually really cool because you quite often don't realize how many cool things you do
Or
within a month.
how many cool things you see because we're
Yeah.
so used to certain things. Like I work in Edinburgh City Centre and our office windows comes out on Edinburgh Castle. Do you think I care? I think like people come from around the world and they're like, "Wow, you have this huge castle on a hill in the middle of a city." And I sit in my office and I clicky clack on the keyboard and I don't even look at it. I don't even look at it. It's like any other building to me. It's just there. And then we have people coming in and visit and they're like, "Oh, I thought it was a green screen in your like background." And we're like,
Oh, wow.
"No." So an appreciation. Look, sometimes it's nice to look at things through the lens of someone who like kind
Yeah,
of sees it for the
definitely.
first time.
Or people who are like, oh, you have this right next to where you live. Why don't you go there? Well, I don't know. Good question.
Absolutely.
Okay, now I have a question to you. So, what's on your must-do list this summer? What have you planned?
Okay, so I think I mentioned it before. More picnics in my local park. That's like a very simple one. I have 3 concerts planned. So I have
Okay.
Beyonce, I have Chapel Roan in Edinburgh, and then my boyfriend and I were planning to go to a music festival
Yep.
in July. So very looking forward to all of that, like a little musical summer. I, for the first time in years, that is very Edinburgh specific, but for the very first time in years, I am not going away in August.
Okay.
I will be in town the whole month, so definitely want to go to many shows. We have Fringe Festival throughout the month, so I want to actually, again, not be like, oh, I have some time, I'm just gonna see what's available. Actually, plan the shows. There's the Edinburgh Book Festival, which I
Yeah.
adore. So definitely want to make time to go to some events there. Make that bloody crispy rice salad. That's like top
Now
of the
I'm
list.
curious. Yeah, I need to know what that is.
Honestly, I'll show you after we finish this. It looks delicious. So definitely go for my recipes and pick like maybe even 3 recipes that I want to try throughout the summer months. And what else? Oh, in February, I've done my very first cold water dip. I did a dip in a lake.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to
So,
do it together.
yeah, so on the list is to actually dip in the sea.
Yep.
So that's in the
Summer
summer.
is a perfect way to do it.
Exactly. And then the general stuff, which I am still have to do my, in detail planning, but definitely, go to the food market and spend more time outdoors.
Yeah.
And just enjoy the atmosphere, feel the sun on my face. Oh my God, by the way, that is so random. I was out with my friend and we're sitting, sipping on our shandies in the sun, gorgeous. And someone started putting on sunscreen and it smelled like summer. It hit our noses and we're like, oh, summer is here. The sunscreens are out. The shandies are sparkling in the sun. What a moment. So I had to share it. Gorgeous. Little things in life. The smell of some stranger's sunscreen.
Hits the spot.
Yeah, 100%. Well, but enough about me. How about you? What are your summer plans for this year?
So the first thing on my summer list is, of course, Beyonce's concert. It's literally like the first week of summer, the first week of June. So really looking forward to that. We'll have a chance to explore London a little bit.
Yeah.
And overall, so last year for my birthday, I got a paddle board. And well, believe it or not, I haven't had a chance to use it. It's been a year and I was literally crying after it. I was like, I really want one. And then I got one and I didn't even use it. We tried once, but it was so windy. We're actually worried I will be somewhere in a different country. So we didn't get to use it. But this year, I'm hoping the summer will be much better. And I will take some time to go on some rivers or lakes instead of the sea, because the sea is quite windy, and hopefully can enjoy that a bit more. There's a place, obviously I mentioned beach time, 100%. There are two beaches that I particularly like next to Edinburgh Seacliff and Gullen, and I just wanted to make it a regular thing to just go there. If the weather is nice and I'm not doing anything on the weekend, I'm going.
Yeah.
Like I'm going there, I'm getting the sunshine and just enjoying myself. And there is also a place, I think mine is quite travel related overall, a little town called St. Abbs. You pass it every time you take a train from London to Edinburgh. It's a beautiful coastal town, and I've probably seen it from the train at least 10 times, and I still haven't made the trip. It's quite literally an hour away. So that's my plan. Yeah, for summer, it has a beautiful beach once again. It's a cute little town, and it has some nice tea rooms or just brunch places.
Fish and chips.
Yeah.
Actually, fish and chips on the beach. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, easy done. Easy done.
I know, but it's one of those things which is so easy done that you're kind of like,
I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it later, and then you never get to. One of the other themes in terms of food that we were talking about is I'm really enjoying cooking by the book at the moment. Not in a way that some complicated recipes, but just nutritious foods, whole foods, and I've really been loving Emily English books. One of her most recent books just came out, so I'm really looking forward to, trying new recipes for summer. And what I really like is literally free advertising. What I really like about her books is this how simple they are to follow. It's very easy for meal prep, but it's also very easy to surprise your loved ones. So that's definitely one of my main things I want to do even more cooking this summer. Tan for me is a big thing. I'm literally... Living in Scotland made me so pale, and I naturally...
Girl, don't.
I know.
She's not pale, by the way, guys. I don't know if you can see it in the video. You don't understand what it means to be pale. I'm bloody Edward from Twilight pale, right?
Okay, in my understanding.
And
pale.
she's beautifully golden all year round.
Well, is it? Anyway, I want to be even more golden, okay?
Fair enough. I mean, I'm not shitting on your goal.
Yeah.
I'm just saying... You're not pale.
Yeah. And luckily this summer I'm going to a swim camp with my brother, so I'll actually have some Spanish sun. Yeah. But that will be towards the end of summer, but not too mad about it overall. And while swimming together, I think, we just have to do it. I know sometimes it's uncomfortable and sore because Scotland doesn't have a warm sea, but it's still better than nothing, I guess.
That's it. And it's fun and it's an experience. And I love that. I also completely forgot my birthday's in the summer. My birthday's in August, so I have to plan that. I don't know what I want to do this year. I had a really big party kind of
Yeah.
drinks last year, and I don't know if I want to do that again or
Yeah. Do you feel a bit more like girly and chill this year?
I don't know. I think it's too early to
Yeah,
say.
definitely. We'll
I'll
get
see
there.
when the time comes. I'll just decide. But yeah, I don't know.
And the final, well, maybe not final, but one of the major things on my list, I need to climb at least 5 Monroes this summer. I've already done 2 so far, and the overall challenge for the year is 10. So, and I think it's quite easy to climb 5 because you can do 3 in one day. But for
Christ.
me, it's literally just going and doing that. And what better way than summer? I have so many friends who do it. I have so many friends who already done it. And honestly, if you're in Scotland and you love hiking, then climbing Monroe's is the way to go. Hit me up if you want to come.
Did you do the one that's like said is the easiest?
So no, I actually haven't. Well, there's different understanding of what the easiest Monroe is. It's for some people it's the least amount of, going up or the shortest.
Yeah.
I've done what you can probably call the shortest in terms of like how to get there. It literally takes like an hour, but it's super tough.
Yeah, because it's very uphill
Yeah,
probably.
it's very uphill. There is what you call the shortest, as in the height Monroe in Scotland, but it's actually considered one of the more challenging ones.
Oh,
It's very
really?
interesting. It's kind of like, how do you look at it? The one I've already done, which I would recommend for people who maybe want to get into hiking, who want to do Monroe, and I found it very easy. I didn't even feel like we had to struggle at any point. It's called Ben Chonsey. It's a very gentle, literally, I wouldn't even call it a climb, walk uphill. I did it with my dog. It was his first Monroe, and we were all very surprised because how easy it was. So if someone is looking at doing that, Ben Chonsey is the one to do.
I think you can easily do 5 Monroes in the summertime.
Hopefully, yeah.
For sure. If you plan it well, for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. If I put it down on paper or save it in my Strava, these are the ones I want to do, I'll do them.
Yeah, because that's the thing as well, like picking them. So sitting down and saying, I want to do these particular 5s, not in this particular order, but these 5.
Yeah.
So when you see, oh, this weekend the weather is going to be
Looking good,
nice,
yeah.
I'll do one of them.
I'll just do one. Okay, so
Or,
that's,
or free.
yeah, who knows? Maybe I'll do like 7 and that's my yearly challenge done. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's the plan for this summer. And I'm sure as as you go through the summer, some things change. You can add some things. And I'm actually, what I'm really looking forward to with all this summer planning is then reflection.
Yes.
I think we might talk about it at some point around how was our summer? Reflect on it. What have we
Yeah.
done? What we haven't? And then plan for autumn in a similar way.
Yeah, definitely. I think all this like seasonal intentional planning, what it achieves is when the year comes to an end, you don't feel like, oh, another year passed and I
Yeah,
don't even know what
exactly.
I've done with my time. Because it's so easy to just get caught up in like work and the things you must do.
And boom, it's gone.
Yeah, and it's gone. And I think just taking that time to intentionally pick the things you want to do, because life is not just to do the things you must do. You need to find time to do the things you want to do.
No, 100%. And again, we always talk about obviously our lifestyles. We don't have any children. But if you do, there's so many things your children will want to do in summer.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure there's so many little road trips or like that Dalkeith country park, like country parks, a beach, or like even in the garden, there's so many
Things to
games.
do,
I
yeah.
feel like, I don't know how you call this game in English, where you like draw this thing on the floor and you put the numbers and you like
I know
jump.
exactly which one you mean, but I
I
have
don't know
no
how it's
idea what you.
called.
Yeah, it's such a good game. We used to play it all the time when we were like
Yeah.
kids.
Oh, we put,
Badminton was our summer game, and I picked up tennis last year. So tennis for me is literally a definition of how to spend some good time outside. If you don't want to climb a Monroe, basically. If you want something less chill, sorry, more chill.
and in general, it's in the winter it's like gym or you exercise at home. It's more difficult to put yourself out there
Yeah.
because the weather is quite grim. But in the summer, that's the perfect time. Like pick a new sport or try something, and yeah, do it outside, or even doing activities for not for the like or however many calories it's gonna burn or how
No.
difficult it is, just for the enjoyment
Let's
of
focus
it.
on the joy this
Yeah,
summer.
I
Joy is
think
the goal.
yeah. So our vibe of the summer is gonna be joy, and I was like, I want to feel alive, like I'm
Yeah.
actually living. You know what I mean? Like that I'm actually living my life, and not my life is just not just happening. I'm
Yeah,
actually
not just happening without you and kind of like you are making the life happen.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So what we would like to know now is whether you have any exciting summer plans. What's your, yeah, if you're going to do any summer planning, if you maybe take inspiration from some of the things we are planning on doing, we would really like to know what's your, what is your summer this year? What do you want it to be?
Yeah. What is your theme for the summer?
If you
And
could probably pick one word for the summer, what would it be?
yeah, please let us know. And as usual, you can follow us on all the usual social media: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, you name it, all listed in the show notes down below.
And as always, we will see you next Tuesday morning.
Bye.